UHD quality video streaming, internet like a boss. SLT Mobitel Fiber. UHD quality video streaming, internet like a boss. SLT Mobitel Fiber.
Surf Excel Hygienic Clean කොරෝනා වෛරසය 99.9ක් විනාශ කරනවා. හොඳ වැඩවලට ඊට කොරෝනා වලට තිත.
Tonight, 65 years of diplomatic ties. Solidarity and cooperation take centre stage during Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi's visit to the island.
Our two countries' strong character, defying power politics, and that is the strong character of our nations.
We appreciate China's assistance towards our economic revival and financial stability.
There was a request made by our side to send tourists back to Sri Lanka.
It might not. The Ceylon Electricity Board gets permission for power cuts.
Because of the panic buying, they might go for hiring generators or some other things, but you don't have to do so.
Thoughts of a former president. SLFP leader says one leader cannot govern a country, delivering bitter criticism over SLPP's neglect of the SLFP. New data. Children in 12 to 18 age groups safe from COVID-induced multi-system inflammatory disorder if Pfizer's given. All that and much more coming up on First at 9. This Sunday, the 9th of January 2022.
නැවුම් කුළුබඩු 12ක එකතුවකින් no biryani mix restaurant රසට බිරියානියක් දැන් ගෙදරදීම.
From AdaDerana, this is AdaDerana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening, welcome to First at 9. I'm Dhamma Kekanaka. Now then, enhancing cooperation and solidarity was the mantra as Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi declared open the Marina Promenade at the Colombo port city, marking 65 years of diplomatic relations between the two countries. During bilateral talks, the Chinese Foreign Minister said that defying power politics was a strong character of both Sri Lanka and China.
Foreign Minister of China Wang Yi, who arrived in Sri Lanka last evening, called on President Gotabaya Rajapaksa today. During the visit, the Chinese Foreign Minister said that China would always support Sri Lanka as a close friend. President Gotabaya also expressed his gratitude to the Chinese government for its continued support in providing Sinopharm vaccines to Sri Lanka in order to successfully implement the COVID-19 vaccination program. The head of state also requested China's assistance in attracting Chinese tourists to Sri Lanka under the biobubble concept, as Sri Lanka has opened its borders completely for tourism. Further, the president pointed out that it would be a great relief to the country if attention could be paid to restructuring the debt payments as a solution to the economic crisis that has arisen in the face of the COVID-19 pandemic. What's more, the initiation of a concessional trade credit scheme for imports from China, enabling industries to operate smoothly, were also pointed out by the president. Finally, Minister Wang Yi extended an invitation to the president to visit China and express confidence that the visit would take place in the near future. Then the Chinese Foreign Minister met Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa at the Temple Trees. During the talks, topics of discussion were the investments at the industrial zone in Hambantota and development projects such as the port city and strengthening the Buddhist and cultural ties.
I believe these regular high-level visits help affirm our strong and friendly relations. This year is an important year for our two countries. It makes the 65th anniversary of establishing diplomatic relations and 70 years of signing the Rubberized Pact. Allow me to also to congratulate the Communist Party of China on its 100th anniversary. As you know, the Central Bank of Sri Lanka issued a commemorative coin to make these important milestones. I want to thank the government and the friendly people of China for the generous support towards fighting the COVID-19 pandemic. The consistent supply of the Sinopharm vaccines make a significant contribution to our successful vaccine program. Similar to many other countries, Sri Lanka's economy was also greatly impacted by the pandemic. We appreciate China's assistance towards our economic revival and financial stability. There is still a long way to go in establishing normalcy, but we were confident that with support from friendly countries like China, we will be able to overcome these challenges soon.
Indeed, as you aptly put it, Your Excellency, this year we may review the past achievements and open up even brighter future. 70 years ago, despite the pressure from the outside, our two countries were able to consult with each other on an equal footing and signed this agreement, Rice for Rubber. And our two countries at that time just got national independence and liberation, and we opened the door of friendship and exchange with each other. This demonstrates our two countries' strong character, defying power politics, and that is the strong character of our nations. And we have also defied the constraints of the Cold War, draw the line of ideologies. And we believe that this Rice Rubber Pact spirit of seeking strength by our own and enhancing solidarity and cooperation will always remain true in our relationship.
Following the discussions, 4 agreements were inked between Sri Lanka and China. An agreement on economic and technical cooperation, letter of exchange on the project of subsidized housing for low-income category in Colombo, handover certificate of the technical cooperation for BMICH, and handover certificate of the technical cooperation project for the kidney disease mobile screening ambulance vehicles were thus inked. Then Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi embarked on an inspection tour at the Colombo port city. He also took a photographic exhibition organized at the port city to commemorate 65 years of diplomatic ties between Sri Lanka and China. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa and Foreign Minister Professor G.L. Peiris were also present. In the meantime, President of the Sri Lanka-China Parliamentary Friendship Association, Minister of Youth and Sports Namal Rajapaksa inaugurated a sailing regatta organized jointly by the Chinese Embassy in Sri Lanka at the port city. This regatta will be held annually hereafter. Further, the Chinese Foreign Minister presented the Friendship Trophy that will be given to the winners of the regatta to the Sports Minister. Meanwhile, the Port City Marina Promenade, a 500-meter public walking path, was declared open by the Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi. The public can access the Port City Marina Promenade from tomorrow onwards between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. The entrance is located in front of the Presidential Secretariat. After a day of engagements, the Chinese Foreign Minister left the island this afternoon, concluding his visit.
During this visit, there were a lot of discussions about how to enhance economic cooperation, trade cooperation, and we hope something good will come out of this visit. And I hope there will be a boost to Sri Lankan economy aftermath of this visit, because the President, the Prime Minister reiterated the need to re-stabilize Sri Lankan economy and then indicated that we need the support of our friends in this difficult time. So we hope that something good will come out. And also there was a request made by our side to send tourists back to Sri Lanka, because tourism is one of the worst affected sectors due to COVID, and that we have requested. And also we have requested to take back the Sri Lankan students, especially the medical students who are yet to complete their clinical studies in China. I think there will be a good response for our request.
Meanwhile, the Prime Minister's office said that the Chinese Foreign Minister immediately instructed the Chinese envoy in Sri Lanka, Chi Zeng-hong, to work closely with the Sri Lankan Foreign Ministry to facilitate the return of Sri Lanka's medical students to China during the talks held at the Temple Trees.
නියම ක්වලිටියට හැදෙන අලුත් ටියාරා රස පදමට අලුත් වෙලා.
In the meantime, during an interview, Sri Lanka's ambassador to Beijing, Dr. Palitha Kohon, expressed hope that the Chinese foreign minister's visit to the island will bring a host of benefits, including investments from mega Chinese companies.
I believe that my views are shared by many. The bilateral relationship is very close, very warm, and is on a very firm foundation. This is the first visit of the foreign minister for the year, and we think we are particularly privileged and honored to host him as our guest. We hope that visits like this will help to consolidate the relationship further. China has been very supportive of Sri Lanka financially and economically. We also hope that the foreign minister's visit will be a catalyst for large Chinese companies to invest in Sri Lanka. And also, when travel restrictions are removed, large numbers of Chinese tourists will go to Sri Lanka as a result of the visit of the foreign minister.
Sri Lankan ambassador to China, Dr. Palitha Kohon, was also quizzed on China's Belt and Road Initiative.
Sri Lanka welcomed the Belt and Road Initiative very warmly, very enthusiastically when it was first announced. And since then, we have benefited under the initiative. The Colombo Port City is coming up. It is a Belt and Road Initiative product. Similarly, the Hambantota Port and the adjoining industrial zone is also a BRI project. We hope that the Belt and Road Initiative will result in more financial and other benefits to Sri Lanka.
The Sri Lankan envoy meanwhile was full of praise for the support China gave in Sri Lanka's efforts to combat the COVID-19 pandemic, especially on the vaccine front.
China was a major contributor as we struggled to contain the pandemic. China gifted 3 million doses of vaccine to Sri Lanka. In addition, we also received 23 million doses of Sinopharm. Sri Lanka is now managing the pandemic quite effectively. It's not running out of control. It's not, I must emphasize that. And I would say that the major reason for this is the vaccine that was provided to Sri Lanka a few months ago. We have contained the epidemic. Almost 72% of the population is now vaccinated. We hope that sooner than later we will be another destination for global travelers, particularly Chinese travelers, knowing that we have managed to contain the epidemic.
Moving on with other local stories, the Ceylon Electricity Board assures the people that they will not have to suffer power cuts from tomorrow, contrary to speculation. Concerns were rife after CEB sought permission from the Public Utilities Commission to effect scheduled power cuts today. Though the CEB insists that there won't be power disruptions in the near future, they warn of a change in scenario in a few months' time.
The Ceylon Electricity Board has submitted a formal request to the Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka, seeking permission to effect scheduled power cuts. As for reasons, the CB cites a breakdown in a generator cable of producing 300 megawatts of electricity, expectation of dry weather, and the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation's refusal to supply furnace oil to the thermal power plants due to the dollar crisis. There is, however, speculation that the Ceylon Electricity Board is planning a 2-hour power cut between 6 to 9 p.m. As such, we sought clarification on the matter from General Manager of the CB, Emma Ranatunga, who said that there won't be any scheduled power cuts from tomorrow.
People get scared and they, because of the panic buying, they might go for hiring generators or some other things. But you don't have to do so because we have constant dialogue with Petroleum Corporation, and I think we get fuel for the month of January, and also we are willing to pay the money required by the Petroleum Corporation, buy fuel for next month also, and also coal power station which is out now, that will be back by end of January. Therefore, we will be having 40% of our requirement until September this year. Here is a depleting reservoir level that will become worse during March and April. When we are close to the March and April, we have to think of this kind of restriction. Otherwise, we can manage with this current level.
A study by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention in the US has discovered that administering the Pfizer vaccine to children aged between 12 and 18 gives 91% protection against developing multisystem inflammatory disorder, which is brought on by COVID infection.
The world has been living with COVID-19 for around 2 years, and scientists are still decoding new data to fully get to grips with the virus. Last year, researchers identified that in addition to fever, loss of smell and taste, and breathing difficulties brought on by the COVID infection, most patients suffered from a situation known as long COVID. Some of the most common long COVID symptoms are brain fog, fatigue, and shortness of breath. In addition to long COVID, various studies have identified other issues which might develop. One such issue is a condition known as multisystem inflammatory disorder, reported among children 2 to 3 weeks after recovery from COVID. The condition is prevalent among mild or asymptomatic cases of infection. Health experts have stressed that if the condition is identified early in children, medical treatment could prevent the condition from escalating as far as death. Multisystem inflammatory disorder is a condition where different body parts can become inflamed, including the heart, lungs, kidneys, and brain. However, a study conducted by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention in the United States has discovered that the Pfizer vaccine was 91% effective at protecting children aged between 12 to 18 from the condition. The CDC study looked at 283 hospitalized patients ages 12 to 18 across 24 pediatric hospitals in 20 states from July through December 2021, where Delta was the predominant variant. Children who did contract multi-system inflammatory condition after getting vaccinated didn't need life support. So far, Pfizer has given the go-ahead for children aged 5 and above to receive 2 doses of its jab, while children aged 12 and above are eligible for Pfizer booster shots at least 5 months after their second dose. And in Sri Lanka, health authorities began administering what they have determined to be a single shot of the Pfizer jab to children aged between 12 to 15 last Friday. It means that the vaccine against COVID is now available to children in the 12 to 19 age group. However, with schools due to resume tomorrow at full capacity, health authorities offered words of advice to both teachers and parents, especially with Omicron circulating in society at the moment.
Once the children come from the school to the home again, the parents must take responsibility to train them, to give them proper sanitary measures before they enter the home. The risk of spreading this infection among the school teachers, among the other staff members in the school will be higher. The teachers have to be vigilant to detect the children who have not taken the vaccines properly, because the government started giving these vaccines to the children 12 years above now. Your teachers can encourage the parents through these children as well as directly to give this vaccine to all the children without any delay, because it will prevent the spread of this disease among other children, as well as the child who is going to get this vaccine will be protected from the disease and as well as the complications of the disease.
We will see shortly. Bear with us.
Big 3.
Welcome back. You're watching First at 9. Now, leader of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, former President Maithripala Sirisena insists that a single leader cannot govern a country without a team in place. Speaking today, he added that despite having to suffer various political setbacks during his tenure as the president, he didn't plunge the country into a crisis similar to that of today.
The Mathura District Conference of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party was held today under the patronage of its chairman, former President Maithripala Sirisena.
රටම අසරණයි. මේ ලෝකේ දෙයක් දන්නේ නැති අය මේ සමහර වෙලාවට සමාජයේ කියනවා මැතිනිකේ කාලේ වගේ දැන් කණ්ඩ නැහැ පොලික් කියලා. මම මැතිනිකේ කාලේ සතොසෙන් බඩු බෙදා හැරපු ගෙනිච්ච සැපේ මිනිරදාරි කියලා. මෙහෙම හේනියක් තිබුණේ නැහැ. මෙහෙම පොලික් වල ගිහිල්ලා කුමාරපු කිව්වේ නැහැ කවුරුත් අහන්නකොට. හිතන්න එපා රටක් කරන්න පුළුවන් කියලා තනියෙන් නායකයෙකුට එක්කෙනෙකුට. ඔහුට හොඳ කණ්ඩායමක් ඉන්න ඕනේ. අවුරුදු 5ක් මම තනියම ආණ්ඩු කරපු කෙනෙක්. පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ අඩුවලින් මං වෙනුවෙන් කතා කරන්න മന്ത്രിවරයෙක් නැහැ. එහෙම අගමැති නැතුව හැමති මණ්ඩලයක් නැතුව පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ කිසි කෙනෙක් බලයක් මට නැතුව මම අද තියෙන අරුදේ කරලා දෙන්නේ නැහැ. ජනාධිපති ඡන්දයට කලින් මේ ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂය ගැන තිබුණු උවමනාව වටිනාකම පොට්ටුවේ මහත්තුරු. ශ්‍රී ලංකා පොදු ජන පෙරමුණේ පොට්ටුවේ ඉහළම නායකයෝ මාව කීසරයක් හම්බුණා. අනේ ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂය නැතුව දිනන්න බෑ කියලා කියපුවා. ජනාධිපති ඡන්දයෙන් පස්සේ පළවෙනි සතියම අපේ සන්දාන කිවිසුමක් කඩදෙව්වා.
Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa, meanwhile, is calling for more sacrifices from the part of the country's rulers to get the country out of the present crisis. Speaking in Jaffna today, he called the present government a nominal government.
රටේ තිබෙන ආර්ථික ප්‍රශ්නවලට වැදගත්ම විසඳුම දේශපාලන කණ්ඩායම් එකතු වෙලා රටේ ජනතාව නොමග යවන දේශපාලන ජයග්‍රහණ ලබන සංවිධාන හදන එක නෙවෙයි. තෙල් ගෙන්නන්න ඩොලර් නැහැ. බෙහෙත් හේත් ගෙන්නන්න ඩොලර් නැහැ. ආහාර පාන ගෙන්නන්න ඩොලර් නැහැ. කර්මාන්ත ශාලාවලට අමුද්‍රව්‍ය නැහැ. මැනුෆැක්චරින් ප්‍රොසෙස් එක එන්නෙන්නම කඩා වැටෙනවා. මේ තත්ත්වය තුල ඉතාමත්ම භයානක තැනකට අපි ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා. ගත්තු වැරදි තීන්දුව වලට මුළු රටම විඳවලා තියෙන්නේ. දැන් මේ රටේ තියෙන නාමික ආණ්ඩුවක් විනාශ වෙච්ච ආණ්ඩුවක්. අද රට තුල හොරකම ඉහවහා ගිහිල්ලා. ඉතින් මේ දූෂණ ක්‍රියාවලියකුත් මේ ඇස්සේ සිදු වෙනකොට කොහොමද මේ විදිහට රට කොට දමන්නේ? ගොඩ දාන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි නිවැරදි ගමනක් යන්නට ඕන. කැපකිරීම කරන්නට ඕන. හැබැයි මෙදාපාර කැපකිරීම පරිත්‍යාගය එන්නට ඕන පාලකයන්ගේ.
Now then, market analysts expect the positivity that prevailed in the first week of trading in 2022 in the coming week as well, with higher level of investor confidence. The CSE All Share Price Index closed 0.85% higher at 13,280.94 last Friday. It was the index's 8th straight day of gains. Now here's Hiruni Pera to tell us what we can expect at the market in the coming week.
This week also we saw a healthy run in the market, mainly driven by higher turnover in diversified financials, capital goods, transportation sector counters. Looking at the upcoming week, we feel there will be a significant positivity in the market. Considering the bullishness in the last trading week, we feel that momentum is likely to continue in the upcoming week as well. Further, we feel that turnover levels are likely to be very high, with trades and activities happening, especially in the recently listed new counters. That is also helping to boost the overall turnover levels, and we can see that a lot of new investors have invested in these shares, and thus significantly supporting the upward movement that has built up in the market. So overall, we are expecting this upward trend to continue during the upcoming week as well, with very strong retail participation, and also especially there's another large IPO is expected to be open in the next week as well. So that is expected to support the overall activities and the turnover levels while boosting the investor confidence.
And that's it from all of us here at First at 9. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.